Can you talk a little bit about the Game Ranch Vineyard?
So Game Ranch is so if you're on the Silverado Trail, we're in the south, so it goes, it goes Calistoga, St. Helena, Rutherford, Oakville, Yountville, Napa. I like Oakville, firstly, over Rutherford, because I find that Oakville is a more elegant appellation, being a bit cooler than Rutherford. I find the tannins in Rutherford, I'm being really critical here, right? The tannins in Rutherford are a little bit more grainy for me, whereas I like the elegance of Oakville. This vineyard to the north is Screaming Eagle. Well, on the driveway, Tim Mondavi made Continuum for the first 4 vintages until he moved to Pritchard Hill. And then the next vineyard, well, then there's a driveway, which is where Gamble Ranch is, which is Behringer's famous vineyard, and then it's Screaming Eagle. And then to the south is Beckstoffer, BV number 3. And then to the other side, next to Gamble, but on the back end of us, is Nickel Nickel. So what's the difference between Goldschmidt and Goldschmidt Plus is the big question, other than the 4 barrels. So what I do is I take a thinner slice, I take 2 rows of each vineyard, and I process them separately. Okay, the easy one to describe is it gets 200% new wood. So it goes in a new barrel for 2 years, and then another new barrel for another 2 years. And what I find it does is, even though the wine is so powerful, you can't see the 200% new wood. The second one is a little bit confusing, because this for me Plus is my baby, and this is, no one ever let me do. When I worked for a corporation for 25 years, and I explained to them what I wanted to do, they weren't going to let me make this wine for this reason. You know what volatile acidity is? Volatile acidity is a blend of ethyl acetate, which is what you smell, and acetic acid, which is what you taste. At Grange, when I was lucky enough to work for my one vintage at Grange, if you take time, VA increases gradually through time, right? So after 4 years, you normally end up with a VA of about 0.8, 0.9 milligram per litre. The maximum you're allowed is 1.2. Once you go over 1.2, you're a Sauterne or a Port or a late harvest, right? So what they do at Grange, they do 2 things at Grange, but one thing that really struck home to me was they get the VA to increase to 0.7, 0.75 within 3 months. So the reason why large wineries never let me do this is because if you don't control that VA, the VA spikes. It goes straight, it won't stop. It's very hard to stop VA. And if you do that, you've got to throw the wine away, the barrels away, and pretty much everything that touched it. And it's a very expensive proposition. The reason why I find it interesting to do the volatile acidity increase in 3 months is that at the end of time, you get all this amazing lift without having that volatile smell or that premature oxidation, which I often see in older wines.
Oh, go ahead.
The third thing I do is, the thinner slice, the 200% new wood, the VA, and the last thing I have to keep proprietary, which is the way I take the wine out of the tank. It takes me 2 days. I mentioned to a wine writer once who published it, and the next day I got 2 phone calls from 2 other guys using the same technique and said, "Welcome to the club, now shut up." So as far as I know, there's only 3 of us using this technique. Those 2 wines both sell for over $1,000.
Oh wow!
Anyway, it's kind of a tricky technique.